All right, so in this question, we're going to be dealing with acute angle bearing. Acute angle bearing, of course. And the meaning of acute angle means an angle that is less than 90 degrees. Angle less than 90 degrees. So, of course, in this question, you have an angle given to us 40 degrees. Obviously, that is less than 90 degrees. So, it passes for what you might call an acute angle bearing. In compass bearing, you're not going to be given any angle. But when you start seeing angles in your question, that is in your compass, the north, east, south, and west, you are seeing angles in between, and they still labeled everything north, east, south, west. It means it is what? An acute angle bearing. Understood? Yeah. Now, if it is a three-figure bearing, you're only going to have just the north visible. Only the north will be labeled. But if you have every other cardinal point labeled and the only one not labeled, everything is labeled, but you have an angle in between, it is acute angle bearing. If you have no angle at all, it is compass bearing. So you have to be able to distinguish between the type of bearing it is before you start solving the question, because that is very relevant to the method you are going to use to solve the question. If not, you might end up getting the wrong answer. So now let's get down to business. How do you address this? Always remember, in the question it says find the bearing of A from B. It means the starting point has to be B. Again, let me explain that. If you are told find the bearing of A from B, it means you are at B. You are trying to go to A. What direction are you going to face if you want to go to A? That's what it means. It's like saying, I'm at home. I'm trying to go to school. What direction is my school from my house? You can see from my house, which means I am at home. That is why your house is the starting point. What direction is my school from my house? So bearing simply means direction. It's like saying what bearing is my school from my house? So what direction is my school from my house would mean you are at your house. You are trying to go to school. So you need the direction to where? To your school. So basically this question is you are at point B. You are trying to go to point A. What direction do you need to face in order to get to A? And in the question, you can see that line that is moving like diagonally going towards A, that is the direction you have to move towards A. And it is always assumed that you are first of all facing the north direction, that you are facing north. So you have to turn a particular amount of degrees for you to face the direction you are going towards. So now you are facing north in this particular question. You have to turn a so amount of degrees to go towards A. Now, in acute angle bearings, if A is, that is the direction you are trying to move towards, if that direction is at the top, that is, it is above E, that is, it's above east and it is above west, you have to make sure that the angle of the bearing is going to be measured starting from north till you reach the direction, that is, till you reach the line that's going towards where you are going. So till you reach the line that's going towards A, till you reach that line that is going towards A. So that's how it is done. So now, but if it is at the bottom, we're going to have an example of that, of course. If it's at the bottom, that is, if it is below, that is closer to south than it is close to north, it means that you are going to measure the angle between south and that line that is going towards A. Never forget that. So now let's try to solve the question. Now, before we try to do that, see, A is actually in between north and east. So we know it is kind of between north and it's kind of between east. But you can't just say it is northeast like we would say if it is ordinary compass bearing. That doesn't have any angle. But this has an angle. You can't just say northeast. So if you prefer, you can try to write your north and then you write your east. But there has to be an angle in between. What angle is that? Remember, the angle for compass bearing, if the direction you are moving towards is moving upwards, whether it's diagonal or not, but it is actually going up, it means you have to get the angle between that direction and north. And the angle between north and that direction is 40 degrees. It is given directly in this question. So you don't have anything to solve. You just have to use the question. The answer is already in the question, which is 40 degrees. Which is 40 degrees. So it means the bearing of A from B, if you're starting from B, is going to be north 40 degrees east, or you could say 40 degrees northeast. So that's the answer for this question. Let's try to do another one in the next video, okay?